Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey, good to see you.
I made it.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Well, I guess it's awesome.
Yeah, because he prepped for his test and didn't get it.
Oh, so you had to go through all the drinking that horrible...
No, I didn't have to drink stuff. I just had to not eat anything.
Okay, but now you can feast then.
Yeah.
So now you have to do it again or
a month. Yeah.
A month, okay. So what was the reason they canceled on you, or
just too many backed up appointments, I think.
Well, I guess during COVID times and stuff, they're probably lagging behind with everything else. So, yeah.
It's just the way endos go in this world. That's,
well,
I know.
Especially times like this.
Yeah.
I'm just rolling with it.
What's up, Big Mac? Yep. What's up, Jason? What's up, Cathay? Good to see you on already.
Log in here. Yeah.
Wow.
Hope we have some humanoid deity experts in the audience.
I think I'm pretty good at this. We've used a lot
I got
of these.
2 surprises when I read through the monster mythology. I got a few surprises. I didn't realize that. So there's some interesting aspects there.
I used to do a lot of my deity research when I was in the comics. And I really, in hindsight now, I really didn't mess much with human deities except for the growth.
You know why everyone's coming on so early tonight, Anna?
Nope.
They want to name that inn, remember?
Oh.
They want to name your inn.
Okay.
Yes. Even though we do have some total game giveaways tonight too, but we're gonna. Everyone wants to name that. You know, everyone wants to.
Awesome.
Yeah. So.
You have to
Yeah, the Casey inn. Yeah, it's not set up yet. Bing, bing, bing. Yeah, no blue box tonight too. I don't know what's happened with John the last 2 nights. He's had to cancel. Sorry, sorry about that. But we're gonna have a really cool discussion here tonight because I have a feeling that 90% of our audience doesn't know much about all the obscure humanoid deities.
To be honest, I don't know that much about the obscure ones either. So.
Yeah.
And who is obscure or not can be debatable. So.
Well, almost all of them are, because really, we'll have that discussion as we come on here. Thanks, Wes. There we go. Cranking it up already on getting the resubs going. Yeah, got a nice crowd already. Starting off a good week here. Nice week of content. There's one thing I forgot to do, and that's, of course I forgot to do something. It's minor, though. Let me see if I can... I'll probably crash the stream doing this. Let's see, that one. I definitely have to do that one. Question is, can I get this done? Yeah, I should be able to. Let's see. I know I'm talking to myself, everyone.
Get the job done.
Yeah.
Gotcha, Uncle Fuzz. I'll put you in there. What's up, Dwayne? Cool. Now the $1 million thing. Can I get police off of the email while everything's running here? Have to show that. 1 down, 1 to go. All right. I was able to do what I was trying to do. I'm not gonna stretch. Let me see if I can. I'm not gonna be able to. Unger, I'll get you after the show. I promise on that. Yes. Yes. A happy Wednesday. Wow, 20, that's pretty cool, man. There's a lot of good stuff coming tonight. You know what I forgot? I did forget something. I'm not gonna be able to find it either.
Okay.
Dummy me. Dumb me. I'm gonna make an attempt. It's probably gonna be futile. Happens when real life gets in the way. I'm just gonna have to snip that and be content with it. Actually, I can't. If I snip it now while the stream's running. Alright, well, I know where to get to it. Yep. The most evil deity in Greyhawk lore? That's debatable. Probably Thariston. I mean, Thariston just like pure evil. Yeah. For that, I would say. It's all right. Hey, really? Good to see you. Tomorrow night is some cool STLs from Gamescape 3D. It's tomorrow night, which will be cool. I think I solved the why the pictures weren't coming up for all the announcements. There's not an update, but there's supposed to be a minor change. So it wasn't me. You can say it wasn't me. I don't know who you're talking about with those TH Lane. Use the name TH Lane. I don't even know who that is. So I would need some help with even knowing what books they are. So just go ahead and chat. You know, I always think I got everything done, and then I just like lag through this thing.
It's the nature of streaming.
Yeah, it's still 7:56, so there. Live from. Put that in here. Oh, there it is. Yeah, do me a favor, Cathay. We put that in my Discord, please. In there, it's going to get lost. I'd really appreciate it. I'm telling you, thank you. I'm telling you, it's just the way it is, man. It's just like but at least I think I'm good to go. On like Sunday night wasn't my with all the notifications not working. That was a split. That was all unexplained. So, it wasn't something I did. Monsters, humanoids, deities, Greyhawk. This will be a fun discussion tonight. I got my personalized reference. Everything you need here actually fits in one hand, which normally it's like that pile is like 20 books long, but tonight I can actually, fit them all just in one stinking hand, which is kind of cool. Whew. Of people still rolling in here. Good to see you, Mr. Joe. Awesome. Here we come. Coming on live. Good evening, everyone. Starting off another week strong here. I'm Jay, aka Lord Gazumba, and with me, as usual, my partners in crime on a Wednesday Night Legends and Lore, Greyhawk Mike Bridges, uncolonoscopized or whatever you were getting.
On the throat, not that one.
Oh, endo, the endo. Yeah. So no. All right. Well, there you go.
Hopefully, this topic won't be the pain in the butt.
Hey, and the great Anna Meyer. And so
Hello.
I'm going to set the giveaway up right now because if you don't know, give me 1 second. If you weren't watching Gavin on Sunday night, we're talking. We had a really great discussion and on taverns and inns, and so I'm giving away 2 Troller Games things tonight. One's a gift certificate, and another is the Gaxmore 5th edition book that Captain Joe won, the digital, but he said he wouldn't. He's never going to use it, so he redonated it back. So I'm going to give that right back out. And that's the 5th edition version of this, which had that the siren singing siren or whatever in it. So for Trollord, so I'm going to have that again. But then Anna's also going to do. Why don't you explain it?
Well, it needed a name for the inn in Bogford, the next little village where the characters or the party is ending up. So it doesn't have a name. So I was going to name it. So I need some help with that. So anyone can come up with the coolest name for it. And it's repeat again. It's a small town or even just a village in southern Shieldlands, and it is it has a smelt works for iron because they mine bog iron. That was the main industry, so to speak. So they melt down the bog iron and make it into steel and iron, raw iron and steel. That's been the main industry for several hundred years, and it's been kind of one of these little places that kind of barely scrapes by. And weirdly enough, it's a place where it's usually have its heyday when the times are bad, because when times are good, it's usually imported. No one goes up into the Syrian hills to get bog iron and all that. They just import it from somewhere else for higher price. But when it gets bad and the big cities are under siege or something like that, then they flee up in the hills, those low hills there. And that's when the village have thrived and more people have used the bog iron and stuff. So and that was the case in the war against the Bandy Kingdoms. But now when Ayus invaded, they kind of fled, and now there's a bunch of hobgoblins that are taken over from Gensal hordes. In my campaign, they are now in charge of it. But there's an inn that has been there for hundreds of years. It's not much of an inn, but it's a small inn, so it needs a name. Yep.
So, in the 3 giveaways, if you draw and win first, you could take that instead of the other two, which is a $25 gift certificate. One of the leftover ones from Greyhawk Combat. What do you care, right? It's still $25.
Well, it's more like it's not it's not real price. I just needed some help with the stuff, so it's awesome. I can see something here.
So whoever wins, you can choose that if you don't want the if you don't want one of the other two things, and then if it gets down to the third one gets choose that. So we'll do 3 giveaways tonight. So good evening, everyone's seeing some new names on here. I really appreciate it. What's that, Mike?
I said settle in.
Settle in for a good discussion tonight on humanoid deities. References. So kind of put these together. I have my own, where, this is the old school, caught it. This is the old school days, right? Where, there was no such thing as PDFs, right? So you're photocopying everything out of the dragons, but now you got a lot of stuff. I even put in like the non-human deities right here for quick reference from Deities and Demigods, which is part of this. But so this is my book, but if you really, all you need really is 3 things, maybe 4. And of course I'm not going to bring down my nice one because I'll drop it and spill coffee on it. So here's, this is my beat up first edition, Deities and Demigods, right? Deities and Demigods with the Cthulhu. You don't need Cthulhu and Nawan, but the Deities and Demigods in here it's called non-human deities, I believe, in this area. That's where you're going to get a lot of the humanoid deities. Dragons, ta-da. Yes. Third thing, because we're going in chronological order. Dragons 62 and 63, perfect. And I'll show those articles. Or for half of that, Best of Dragon Volume 3, right? For all the half orc and orc deities in there as well. And then Anna, ta-da.
Yep.
All right, Monster
the
Mythology.
Bible when it comes to this. Yep.
Well, yes, it is the Bible for the most part.
Stiff.
And this is by Carl Sargent, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, mine's pretty stiff too because I utilize my other stuff for the most part.
Well, I put some plastic wrapping on top of it, so it's holding up well.
It is a good book, and it's
from 1992.
Yes, and one of those rare blue books, which is almost impossible to get now for under $100, right, in good condition on eBay or anywhere else. Yeah,
they are so awesome. It's the best series ever made for AD&D. I think it's the blue ones. Yeah.
Yeah. Josh, this is great, and thanks for hopping on there. This is a fantastic book, Monster Mythology.
Is that on print on demand?
I don't know.
Anywhere?
It is.
Yeah, I bought it from a PDF from Drive-Thru, so it's on print. Not print on demand. I don't know, but it's available from Drive-Thru in PDF form.
That's what.
At least.
Okay.
Note this. To get a base of most of the old school ones, you don't need this. If you have the Deities and Demigods, and you have Dragon 62 and 63 access, you're going to get a lot of these. Not all of them, because there's a ton, but a fair amount, and I think that's what we're going to go over tonight. So, oh, cool. Well, good to see him on there. Excellent. And so, note the following: we're going to bounce around like we always do. Talk about some key ones and any that you'd like to bring up, which would be awesome as well. It is I think this is an area that that is ignored a lot, especially even by Greyhawk standards. There's a lot of great, and I'm not saying throw out deities all over your field of battle or whatever and have them and have your characters fighting them, but I think this is an area that gets really missed a lot in development in campaigns. What are your thoughts on that?
Mike, you go first.
Because it's Ayus, everyone's fighting Ayus, Tharas, they're not fighting like Norma Gaia and his hobgoblins. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They're fighting arithmal hobgoblins or whatever, and that's the point I'm trying to make here. So, yeah.
It is kind of disappointing that Ayus would have such sway over so many humanoids.
Yeah.
It's almost like they would treat him as any other mortal ruler, right? And still have their own shamans kind of, staying out of the way, perhaps. Not to anger the Ayusian priests or something. But I always wondered how you reconcile that. I never looked into any deeper than Grumps.
Well, they attempt, and I said this multiple times. There is a spot in the Vespi where they address this, and the Torch of Grumps is in the Vespi forest, and it's Grumps worshiping orcs that hate the Orogs and the Iusian orcs with a passion. And in my campaign, the druids of the area are actually allied with them. The enemy of my enemies, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I
as
mean,
it should be.
so, you know, in order to join their cult as a leader or cleric, you have to pluck your eye out. And one of Bill's characters chickened out when I made him that offer. See how it works. So, absolutely, detailing the deities really does help expand the cultures. I agree 100%, and that's kind of where we want to discuss this tonight. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think it's, the cultural aspect is interesting because the humanoids have just been in most adventures and modules overall. They're just described as monsters, meaning they're just there for characters to kill, and they are occupying rooms and whatnot, even whole caves and stuff. But I think what is lacking is what are they doing there? Meaning, what is their place in Greyhawk society? Meaning, do they have organized cultures? Are they just the cannon fodder used by IUs and whole society and other more or less scrupulous regimes here and there? And to me, it's interesting because the gods of these deities and the shamans and stuff that are described are one of the few instances where we get like a glimpse into orcish and hobgoblin and goblin and the other humanoid societies, and to me, that is really interesting. And also the power dynamic that should be, meaning, are the orcs that serve Ayus, for instance, is Ayus demanding that they serve him, or are other humanoid deities allowed or thrived, or it's a lot of these kind of things.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't
exactly.
think so.
I think
there are no
I think that was
priests of Ayus.
exactly. I think it's excellent points, and I think it's and meaning these orc tribes and other humanoid tribes that are described, are they independent by themselves or whatever? Meaning the Bone March have them, Horned Society have them, and Iusian areas have them, and some of the other areas. And to me, that's a dimension in Greyhawk and that I want to elaborate more on.
It's also interesting how an organization like IUs, or say in the Palmars where you have this orcish empire, the slave lords, how they can get different types of humanoids to all work together.
True.
Surely it's not on religious lines, right?
That is left very vague and nebulous.
Yep.
On how that works. Now, I think in the lands of Ayus, it's a different story. I mean, because it's all under his banner. But I don't. The Pomars should be a mess. Really should be. And a lot of other areas.
Well, in a lot of areas, it is a mess, but
Pomar seems to be pretty organized, Anna. I mean, for the most part.
Yeah.
Surprisingly
organized.
Exactly.
So yeah.
But I think that there's an opportunity in this discussion to really think about, oh man, bringing in, even if you bring in like a witch doctor or a shaman of each. And I want to show some people this. I don't think you know this in a great Jim Ward / Robert Kuntz publication.
Ooh.
All right, and let's go here. This is the original Deities and Demigods. Now, my PDF version doesn't have the cover. I don't know if it's at the end or whatever, but this is it from 1980. And I want to show you something that I don't think a lot of people know about. Now, maybe you do, but we go through all the way back to the end here, down to non-human deities. And this will start it off to think about how you link in. And this is what Tim does. So here we're on non-human deities here. And we'll go through a lot of these, but scroll down here. All right, so first of all, it here notes the following beings from the Matsumae theme folio should be treated as lesser gods. So you got all the major demons, all the major devils, Bahamut and Tiamat, as Len Lakofka has always said. You got Loth, of course, and you got the Slods. But then, where is it? Oh, it's right above here. Duh. Here's where here. So it talks about shamans and witch doctors here. And about using them as, and this is old school, right? So this is before This is before any specialty classes are done, 1980. So this is slightly mentioned in the Dungeon Master's Guide, very little, but they're already talking about shamans, witch doctors, and how to do them in here and how to write them up with your humanoid characters. And I kind of use a variant on this because I do a lot in my game. But this is on page, what is it, 105 in there. So this is a good starting point for those if you haven't developed those classes. So yeah, of course, sure. And that's the one I was like, oh my god, I forgot to get the Raxafort right up. That's the one I was like, oh shit, I forgot, because it's really not in any of these publications unless it's in Monster Mythology. It probably is in there. So yeah. So that's something to consider, is that now you have added some other classes in for humanoids instead of just having them have hit dice, right, and having them all fighting and all. You have to have some spell capability, and that's where you can go forward right here. So a good starting point to note that now you can give your flavors to those deities. So it is not in Monster. It's not Monster Mythology. Raxafort is not in here, huh? Okay, thought it was.
Not sure.
Wow, that's all right. Well, I have it. I have it in a no. No, it's not. That sucks. All right. I had it separate up and I forgot to snip it. I couldn't snip it during the stream. All right, cool. He got 2E right up. Dragon 265 sounds about right. Did Eric Mona do that one? I think Eric, right? Mike, did Eric do Raxafort Mona? Because I thought I'm not sure about that. The partier himself. So when you're talking about non-human deities, let's just start at the beginning and then go through the base ones here that we're talking about. And let me flip back here. I'll be flipping screens back and forth a lot. Of course, you got Grumps, right? So if I recall, when Jim Ward was talking about Grumps, he said that was one of two that he did not do. He did not do Corellin, Larethian, and Grumps, and I think there were Kunzes. And all the rest, though, he said most of the rest in here were his. If I recall my discussion with Jim Ward, we had about a year and a half ago?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So that's why the two.
Reload, Jason. It's clear. Yeah, Jason, reload on it's on your end. I'm almost positive. Yeah, because for them interacting, if I recall correctly, and I could be recalling that wrong completely, but I really think that I has pushed Grumps and the whole plethora of orcish deities off to the side when From the Ashes came out, especially. I think it's a lost opportunity. I'm glad that they did it a little.
Surprising, because Carl Sargent did Monster Mythology.
Exactly. Yep.
Well, yes, he did, but that doesn't. Yeah, that's true. But
if he would go into exhaustive detail about Airdian houses and this and that, why wouldn't he go into exhaustive detail about orc?
So From the Ashes, was that after Monster Mythology? They're very similar.
No, I think that's before, isn't it?
Okay, so was From the Ashes 91 then? Or 90?
This is
92, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I could be wrong once again. I don't know.
Hang on a second.
I don't know which is first. I really don't.
Going to grab the.
I mean, this has this is a FR/Greyhawk mix, right? And even some Dragonlance in here. Hey, Sanokin, because you got a lot of drow heroines in here. That the entire Faerun, it's all.
At the end, there's advice on how to use it in. It's like 5 ebooks in that way. There's advice to use it in whatever campaign.
I'm almost positive that this is post. So. Oh, cool, man. Thanks, Ald. That's good. So Raxafort is in Dragon 264. I may be able to pop that up if we get
this one is From the Ashes is published the same year, 92.
Yeah, it could be. Them.
So they are very similar era, so to speak. So yeah,
it could be those two in conjunction. But so with Grumps came, and my thought on this was my problem too early on, 1980. You have these, and you have Grumps, but that's it. Don't have anything else. You have Corellin Larethian. You have a tree for Sylvan Elves, Rolthane Ralafel, right? You have one deity is enough for a goblin. One deity is enough for a bugbear. Yeah. All those. but you're really lacking on depth until the Roger Moore articles come out, right, in the 60s. In the articles for the 60s. So once you get to that point, and I'm just going to open. Let me see. I got them all set here. Let me get to 60.
Well, what I was going to say is, as
for it.
someone who collected Dragon magazines backwards to the 60s and earlier, I never heard of these other humanoid deities, and so Grumps, yes, wasn't all I needed, you know. But we did have different flavors of elves, so Sanaries, and they all had their individual ones. I don't think it's a stretch to say maybe back in the day when things were simpler that orcs were just monotheistic, and the humans were the polytheistic ones. I don't know.
And we can also, I think also one of the other interesting thing is that the humanoids that we know in the Flanese, are they the only one in the world, or are there bigger ones? Meaning we have the infamous or badly named Orkreich out there and stuff. Meaning, do we have, are these just for the Flanese ones, or are there like bigger beasts when it comes to orcish and goblinoid cultures and stuff? Meaning, are there bigger orc empires and humanoid empires out there in the rest of the world? And it's, according to some, it seems to. And are these gods and stuff, are they from there, or are they prevalent in humanoids? And also the humanoids that live in the Flanese, are they native here, or are they just brought in as mercenaries or slaves or something by the migrations? I don't know. There's like little hints here and there, but nothing decisive one way or the other.
I could speculate on that, but that's outside the topic.
Yeah. But I was meaning that's the interesting meaning, but it's I think it's a little bit important, because if they were just brought there into the Flanese as helpers or slaves or just hired mercenaries and stuff, then I wouldn't be surprised if the Flanese deities and Ius and others will overcome the humanoid deities, so to speak, because they will be ruthless in a way. But if they are native to the Flanese and have lived here for millennia and stuff, and have their own cultures and tribal identities and all that deep, then these humanoid deities should be the norm among humanoids, so to speak.
So this is why I'm going to say no to that. Roger Moore, the gods of the orcs, at least, there's no sundered empire at this time. I don't even think he's thinking that way. What do you think, Mike? At least for the orcs. I mean, I just don't think that it's...
Well, the two things I have that bother me is, that I wasn't going to go into, is like the hateful wars is...
Yes.
Elves driving out orcs, right? How
well,
long were orcs there beforehand?
Other humanoids too. Yeah.
Yeah. How long were they there? Were they native, or did they migrate there?
Yeah. They seem to have at least been through, as far way back we know in Flanese history, they seem to have been around one way or the other.
Right.
So.
And just in the scant history we have of ancient Flannes, I don't really think there's any tales of humanoids going up against Solm or...
Exactly. There are no big humanoid realms back in the day. Yeah. We have like 2,000-3,000 years of history.
Humans, or
exactly.
elves versus humans. Yeah.
So in a way, the stories about humans seems to be much more prevalent in later, after the migrations, rather than before the migrations. So if that's a hint. So in a way, I want to have like humanoid empires where these gods and so on are much bigger outside of the Flanese. Will be kind of cool. Yeah.
Well, Jock Shoulder asked a question. I think I answered it. Could the reason why so few gods of these creatures were created because it might be tough using gods in a campaign for such a level of monsters? No, I think that they're just... The early game was thought of humanoids are monsters to kill.
Yep.
There's no culture, none of that thought about early on. That's what I think.
Exactly.
And then once someone thought about it, they gotta have deities because they're sentient.
Exactly. Yeah, the humanoids it was kind of a big, and their culture had become an afterthought or something that's woven into the game later. So, yeah.
Yeah. I want to
You have
show.
to kind of live with it. Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
no, you're good. Absolutely, and I appreciate your deep thought on this. I want to show a picture that is confusing to me.
Okay.
Always was, and that's on the cover of the God of the Orcs. Grumps are shown with an eye patch here, not with a central eye.
Yeah, I like the eye patch
Artist.
much better because it ties into the story that he had 2
Yeah.
eyes and then he lost one in the fight with
Right, but there's
Curialic.
2 different versions. I just want to point
Exactly.
that out as a little
Yeah,
quirk.
But I agree. But I think it's one of these that the art order, or they just took some art of a Cyclops from Greek mythology or something and just put in there because it's one-eyed. I think that's more of an editorial than actual real content. So I think the patch one, the eye patch, is more appropriate.
I'm a big fan of the Cyclops Grumps, of course.
I
He
do
looks
too.
cool. He looks cooler than the eye patch. Yes, I
Yeah.
agree. But the eye patch fits with the story better.
But you're right. The eye patch is.
But I agree
more
that the looks
likely.
of a single-eyed looks kind of cooler. Yeah.
It so this article is fantastic, and this is all Roger Moore. There's some really crazy orcish gods beyond Grumps. Like Yurtrus is kind of scary, right? I mean, I don't know why, but he came up with the White Hand is a terrifying orcish god of death and disease. He's got human hands, which kind of is really bizarre.
Yeah.
Now, for an orc god to have
It's
human
like-
hands.
Human? Who has human hands?
Yurtrus.
Yeah,
Yurtrus.
Yurtrus. Yep.
So it's just his hands appear completely normal except for being chalk white in color. So maybe they are orcish. They look human to me in the picture, but so they have a death god. They have a disease and death god, which is cool that they worship. They have the god of the night lord Shargas, another cool one for assassin types, half-orc thieves, half-orc assassins in your campaign. Via evil. No, we have a lot of half-orcs that worship human deities, and some of them, there's no reason why they can't worship Sargas, So, instead, it would make much more sense, especially on the assassin realm. Most of ours are worshiping some kind of, human deity, though.
I think that's a good
Like
point.
Corel.
Just like because I think that some of these gods are probably coming into the common with half orcs and also just like Ilona, in my view, have come from more an elven and then elven flan and then into common, and Nerul and Palor have gone from flan to become common gods. So it will be kind of cool that some humanoid deities also came into common, especially among humans living in areas like Horn Society, Bandit Kingdoms, Ayus, and others.
Cool. Excuse me. So these are in an order, and I let me go back to the get back. So Luthick, the cave mother, right, is the wife of Grumps, and Fertility.
Looks very, very haggy to me.
See
Right,
where
but-
Eli Tomar's got his hands.
Yeah, but the funny
Yeah.
thing here is lawful evil with neutral tendencies, which is a little surprising here, right?
There's so many of
Yeah.
all the orcs gods are lawful evil. When I read Monster Mythology, a majority of the humanoid gods are lawful evil. It surprised me. Normally you think of them as chaotic evil, but they're more lawful evil ones than chaotic evil.
From the intent of the Orog, they're chaotic evil, but the original orcs are lawful evil. I think
exactly.
And once again, it all goes back, and Jason will agree, who's watching. It goes back to Lord of the Rings. It really does. I mean, and Gary says no, but a lot of the stuff was based on, they made a lot of changes with the pig face.
Orcs have become more chaotic in later editions in the game. So early on, they were lawful.
Absolutely. Goddess of Fertility. I actually had a character. I think it was one of Tim's that I worshipped Luthick. It was a goddess of fertility. And she was lawful neutral, and that was kind of cool.
The wife of Grumps.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't look like a goddess of fertility, but but she looks like the antithesis of that. But
yeah. Exactly, Jason. Very Tolkien-like early on, and a lot of this you got to take that in consideration. Now, here's another great. If you are this is a 5e thought, okay, and I'm not a 5e DM as we know, but Bok Tokuru is a great Orc Barbarian one, Brawler one you can have in that 5e realm. Also for hardcore fighters, fighters that don't want to wear as much armor, in the old school, but got 6 intelligence, 6 wisdom, and 25 strength. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But also a bit like Cord and that kind of personal exceptionalism in a way, so to speak. It's kind of the other ones are more tribal. This one, Bug True, seems to be more like you should improve and be skilled as an individual rather than the tribal aspect.
True, and you're right. It's almost like an orcish version of Cord.
Yeah. That tradition, so to speak, meaning be fierce and tough and independent and strong and skilled, so to speak, in a way. Most of the other gods seems to be disciplined in the tribe and follow the leader and do exactly what as you told and stuff. But Bug True, he kind of stands out as different in philosophy that way from most of the other ones.
Now we actually have a subscriber who has this name, right? We have Il Naval actually as one of our subs. I don't know if he's on right now, but he's on a lot.
That sounds kind of Finnish.
Yeah, I actually used that name. Yeah. It does sound that. No, he's not on now. But this is the god of battle and leading armies beyond Grumps. So a secondary warrior type one.
That illustration.
I like that name.
I like both the name and the illustration and the concept. Yep.
It's a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
He wears a suit of red iron chainmail. So if you're a worshiper here, you want to wear red,
Nice.
and so what are Ayu's colors? Aren't they red too, though?
Red, red and black. A blood rusty
red
and black.
White with blood splat.
But most of the stuff that ends up in his are either red, white, and black. Seems to be the colors from his heraldry and other symbols we've seen. So yeah.
So remember this: there's supposedly these armies in hell where the orcs are constantly fighting the goblins forever, and there's the armies of
demons and devils.
Yes, and the armies of Maglubliet going at it.
And the orcs seems to be very hellish in the Monster Second Edition era. They're very hellish and hell based,
right?
In that era, and then they become chaotic, all over the place, kind of dudes afterwards, so to speak.
The orcish Valhalla.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
To either in a Karen. Interesting. Yeah. So they switch it from the Hells to a Karen. Okay.
Yeah. So the interesting thing is the blood war and all that conflict, is that something that was introduced in 3rd edition?
No, that's interesting in the Deities and Demigods book.
Okay. So but they're not mentioned here in the humanoid deities, which is interesting because these are the ones that's supposed to do a lot of the fighting.
It says right here, when Grumps does not have time to command his armies in hell, he turns the job over to his chief lieutenant Ilnaval, master of command strategy. Yeah. Next to Grumps, of course. So so they do have a mention here, and then if I here, let me go to
Arsheron, Alderon. That is one of the lower planes. You have from the abyss in the chaotic evil realm to the hell in the, and then in the mid you have Hades, you have Gehenna, Arsheron, and so on. So yeah.
And Tartarus, I always.
And Tartarus,
it's in between.
Exactly, you have like the range from abyss in one end, and then you have the ones that leading more towards total chaos, like Pandemonium and stuff like that. And then you have the other ones closer to law next to hell, and then you have the in between, and then you have like Hades in the middle, and Arsheron is next to it, and Gehenna or the other one.
Acheron's the endless battlefield.
Yeah,
that's where Hextor hails from.
Yep.
So
it's just like battles.
Here's the goblin and hobgoblin main deity Maglubliet, and it says right here, Maglubliet is a war god in general. He commands mighty armies of goblin spirits in hell, where they eternally war against Grumps Orcus spirit army.
There you go.
Right. Thank you. So that's where it is. Now, note that I'm not why the goblins and hobgoblins who really don't like each other have the same deity here. But there's others coming up. So, and by the way, if you notice, this is a Diesel. Diesel did a lot of the drawings back in the day in this book.
But really cool. I take it that the goblins and hobgoblins squabble due to close kinship. So they
There you go. Thank you,
squabble,
Wald.
but as soon as there is an external threat, they gang up, so to speak, meaning no one
Right.
is going
And
to.
if the
Yeah,
goblins didn't have hobgoblins, there would be no contest.
yeah.
Well, yes, that's true. That is true.
Yeah,
Let's
I
finish
have it.
that.
I always played it like the hobgoblins. They boss around and they boss around the goblins and use them as their whatever needed, more or less as slaves, until there's like an external threat. Then they gang up together and then the hobgoblins protect the goblins because they need them as labor, so to speak, and
I
stuff.
like
So,
Games Workshop goblins better. In
Okay.
that setting, like your goblin is just like a runny version of an orc. Like someday, if this goblin lives long enough, he could grow up to be an orc.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, and Paizo
I
have.
could be wrong.
Yeah, they made goblins that and another mainstay
they're
of their
all different.
hmm
So
just like the kobold have changed.
you have in Dragon 63, you have the next article in the list, and this one's not least the humanoids of the Roger Moore articles. So he does go into some detail beyond just the orcs, with and this is where Gary said some of the really nice pictures and drawings are. So he talks about kobolds, goblins, hobgoblins, gnolls.
And this is pre-reptilian kobolds. These are the kind of kobolds before they became reptilians.
Yeah, look at the
right?
pictures right here. No, you got kobolds fighting gnolls right here, and they do not look like
exactly. They're not the reptilian.
Well, I think they're goblins. Actually, they're goblins. There's no pictures of kobolds.
Oh, okay.
All right, but wait, look at the Cobalt Deity. Here, I mean, what do you think? That's the Cobalt Deity. So,
yeah, he's not the reptilian.
No.
That we know from. Yeah, and I think I want to keep my kobolds non-reptilian. I think.
Yeah, same here. I'm not a fan of dragon sibling.
I have enough of dragon kids.
Yeah. So
Colonel Mac, isn't he?
Yeah, good
Scalian
or something. Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the Deities and Demigods. So if we go
Scalian.
Yeah, he's.
If we go here he goes. I mean,
in monster mythology. Oh, there he looks reptilian.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it says, appears as a giant kobold. Well, look, there's the kobold pictures.
Well, they kind of, they look kind of reptilian already. So
they look kind of impish too. I mean, it's like what are kobolds? So
maybe they're more hellish, kind of impish rather than reptilian.
They're lawful evil as well. So and they're planes of nine hells.
Yeah,
so
they can be impish. Yeah.
The kobolds are minors in mythology, and kobolds and gnomes compete in the same space, and they're mortal enemies all around. So there you go. So that makes total sense. So Dakaranok never made it into. Well, that's a shame, but at least we know where to find him for our game. Hey, what's up, Patrick? Let's see, you're on. I think of Cobalt. I mentioned the ones from EverQuest, more K9. So they are what they are. I mean, they've morphed a lot, there's not a lot on Cthulhu here. He can smell gnomes up to a mile away, which is cool, which drives him into a killing frenzy.
Yeah.
So, and they wear orange robes. So not about hiding, wearing orange, right? Yeah. So you have Cthulhu, who's the main one, but then you have Dark Dakarnark, who did not make it into monster mythology, which is interesting. Why? He lives in the nine hells as well. So there you go, lawful evil.
Yeah.
And the heroes that become demigod helpers, Cthulhu, also upon their deaths are those who will cause the greatest destruction and havoc among demi-humans and humans. So he's just about raiding and slaughtering, it appears. Okay.
He fits in the picture.
Yeah, from back then. So,
but I like that illustration. It's cool.
Yeah. And it says in life. So he's a demigod that rose. So Cobalt demigod, which is cool.
Hey, if Raxi Vork can do it, he can.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a very cool one there. I like that one, and that's so you got two Cobalt deities before we even got to monster mythology.
Yeah,
which is cool. So All right. Who we got?
Well, I've been kind of skimming through Volo's
Guide to Monsters.
Guide to
Okay.
Monsters 5e.
Right.
There's a lot of humanoid stuff going on in here,
Mhm.
and I'm surprised there is a sidebar on Kurtulmak
Oh,
down
Really?
in the kobolds. Yep,
Well, that's good
just a
to
little
see.
bit, but
Who wrote that?
I'm sure it's various authors.
yeah.
Lead designer Mike Moles.
There you go. Mm-hmm.
I'll ask him next time I talk to him. He hasn't responded back to me in a bit
Yeah.
here. So cool. All right. So after Maglubliet, you do have another lesser god for. I can't even say this.
Kurgorgebiag.
A
What
lesser
language is
god.
See,
that?
I'm training my goblin here, so yeah. Mhm.
So
Kurgorbaya.
what? I just like that the 5e core books are names for various settings. Yeah.
So he
Kurgorgebiag.
has a whip.
Dale, you and I are,
Yeah.
you know, not in the 5e stuff. But here's a good thing. So Roger Moore said, Maglubiet's one. I think there should be a deity that's just goblins and just hobgoblins. So he creates two. This is the goblin one, and it says specifically right here that his chief rival is the hobgoblin one. So this deity, his flame red skin, speckled with orange and yellow scales, and his only weapon's a whip. So there you go. They work in harmony with bugbear shamans because bugbears and goblins get along where hobgoblins don't get along really with either of them. So, Goblin God bathing, Dr. Faust. I doubt they have one. So they, so you have a slave taking, which is probably not PC now. I don't care, but who cares? This is old school. So thanks, Kelstaff.
Calstaff.
Thank you. So, yes.
Goblin God of bathing.
Yes. Now, once again, off of Maglubliet, now I like this deity a lot, and I use this deity a lot in the game. I do. This is one I really love, and that's Norma Gaia.
It's a good name.
Is it Gaia or Gaia? I pronounce it Gaia. It's probably
I'll
wrong.
go with Gaia.
Yeah.
So, and he's a merciless warrior, and he's a lesser god as well. And specialty, he's got wounding and pain abilities, and he and it says shamans tend to make thinly veiled references to the barely controlled disgust their deity has for his rival, the patron deity of goblins. So note that and plus, well, they do eat the cooked flesh of their enemies, which is kind of disgusting. But hey, so
Well,
be
they
it.
cook it first. So
Yes, they do cook it first. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not
I-
complete brutes.
Yeah. So when I go, and I've recently done this just because we had the hidden temple of the Rithnal in the Sus Forest area in the southern Sus we placed, and and there's a lot of bugbears and gnolls in there, and just for that it fit. And I've been running through with a lot of this remnants of the Rithnal army, but for hobgoblins I want to go this direction. I prefer this deity, Norma Gaia, for the hobgoblins in my campaign. Maglubiet fits them all, kind of a patron, but this is the one I like to go with. So with the hobgoblins. Yep. Now I think that's it in this article, except for something else I want to show in a second. So you have a couple lesser and deities in this one before we even get to the Great Monster Mythology book, which has tons of them in there, and this is all 1E era, mostly all
these
Roger
articles
Moore's.
are also really well illustrated. I really like a lot of these illustrations. Are really
It's definitely like the old
Yeah.
dragons were very well done there.
Yeah.
So now you have Yinug as the main deity of
Yeah.
gnolls, but then you have this. Oh, by the way, hint, you may see one of these tomorrow night. Okay, just note in my adventure. Shushuva. The only deity that gnolls worship, save for renegades, is Yinug, the demon god of gnolls. So Yinug developed a specialized form of demonic undead for use as an intermediary between him and his shaman and witch doctors. So their name means returners in the gnoll tongue. So pretty cool. It's only countered singularly in 1 or 2 ways. So you got something you could utilize in your game. That is, I don't know if this is seen anywhere else besides this article here. If anyone knows of
I like
I've
when
never heard of
Jay-
him before.
what's that?
I like when Jay breaks out a obscure monster on his stream and he quizzes everyone like, "Do you know what this is?"
Yes.
Exactly, and I never heard of it.
Yeah.
So
So
I must
yeah,
have missed
so
that
you
one.
got
Yep.
something here that you can utilize and you can have fun with, and you
Yeah.
can yes. So you know, just like the rapper, you know, the Undead Dwarf is another one that I love here. But this is cool, and so just note that in what I'm doing on Thursday night, I've been having this planned for a bit here. Shows up in 3, but never showed up in 2E. Okay, cool. So there you go, and it has some abilities, and just wait and see tomorrow night. So there you go on that, and that ends the article, and it goes into I love this Chagmat. Did anyone ever run that one? Akron Ohio, the one-armed Superman. Yeah. So and Larry did tell those. Yep, and that's in the same article. Alrighty. So
Yeah.
think of some that you may want
I'll
to.
drag the Sewell through this topic. Don't worry, Rich.
Is this where? Yes, exactly. The very ugly deities. I love, you know, of course, Loth is enjoying herself here. I always love this art. This one, like, oh, I'm
That's
Russell.
great.
Yeah, but she is pouring that on the guy. Don't you think her hands are being burned by the freaking thing? Or that's always like, I'm like, how you doing that? You know, because it's only a glass tube. I never got that. So
It's divine intervention support or something. Yeah.
Yes. All right, let's scroll back up here. All right, so bugbears.
Mhm.
Bugbears.
Yep.
You got Rugrick, right?
Lord.
It says here though, bugbears is a simple pantheon of 6 deities. I'm wondering, and let's bring this up finally, if that's the case in monster mythology. What do you think? It says that right in the deities and demigods. I wonder if Carl Sargent did his work here and did simple pantheon of 6 deities in here. Bugbears, page 52. I doubt it.
No, he only had 2.
Okay, he only has 2.
3. 3.
Okay,
Yeah.
Hugrick's 1.
Ruggick and
Groncool and
Skiggeret.
Skiggeret.
Yeah.
And that's it.
But Skiggeret, Skiggeret is a demigod, so but that counts. And Ruggick is in the intermediate god, so yeah.
All right. So you got it says right here they have gods of earth, death, fertility, hunting, and fear. So it doesn't rule the other ones. Yeah. So right in here, this is a Jim Wardism.
Jim Wardism.
Yeah. So he's thinking ahead here, and bugbears are very very chaotic evil, by the way. And you know he's a god of battle, which fits perfectly with bugbears.
That will be what you most likely encounter.
Exactly.
Right? Battle.
So I'm torn. Like I said earlier, I think a Riftnull is a great god for gnolls and bugbears as well. But they should really have their own in specific areas as well. Thank you for the follow. You're going to talk about Skerrit? Yeah, sure. Why not? He's on here. He's in here. We can do that. So interesting. There's another diesel picture, and once again, they always tell you the level that they can rise to, shamans and witch doctors and stuff in here, which is kind of cool. But you don't have to listen to that because I don't use class level limits anyway at this point. But a neat deity to utilize. Bugbears are really cool because they're so silent. You know, they can do a lot of neat things, and plus they're the first humanoid in, well, this is old school 1E and 2E that you can't use whole person on them. So they don't work on bugbears and up. So you got Groncool and Skiggeret, which is the fear god, and then you have the god of thievery and sneaking, which is probably, which is good to have for those two. So at least you have 3 deities worked up for bugbears in this book. And they go into more detail here on spheres in this book. So note that, and once again, if you make specialty pieces up, and let me just show you, if you can see this here, let me blow this up a little bit so you can understand what I'm talking about. All right. You see this here for this deity. The asterisk means it's a lesser sphere only, which means your priests only get 1st, 2nd, and 3rd level spells. Others, combat, elemental, earth, water, they can get higher level. But if they're limited in ability, it won't really matter for the higher level spells. But that's how you determine if you're developing a spell list what they get. So, and then the turn undead ability. Here's level limit now is 8 with wisdom of 18. A bugbear with 18 wisdom can go up to 8th level, which is 2nd edition stuff, right? And it says shamans, yes, plus witch doctors. So note right there, it shows you that you can you do those, and it gives you actually some stats on them, which is pretty good in this book. So they're thinking, that you got stuff you can utilize in your game. So isn't Centaur a fae of sorts? Yes, but it's in here, so we can just discuss it. I have no problem with that. All right. So any questions so far? Mating a horse with Rich, don't no. Don't
It's terrible. It's great.
So that's good that they mentioned others. And once again, nothing is ever complete. You never have a complete list. You never have a complete story of everything. It's okay though. Questions on anything we've discussed so far? We've gone over orcs and hobgoblins and goblins and bugbears to this point.
I will comment again on Volos that
Yes, please.
in the creature section of it, they have some interesting orc variants. I'm guessing they're shamans. So it's like Orc Blade of Ilnival, Orc Claw of Luthick, Orc Hand of Beatrice, Red Fang of Shargans. I mean, and I've used some of these before. I think it's just cool that 5th edition went the extra mile to actually implement these deities, and the write-ups even talk about the gods.
Excellent.
So I think that's a major, improvement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. In fact, I may need to look at some of that stuff and back convert it to have some of those items. Once again, it's everything. So the question came up, Daragar, and I said, if we're going to do it, we'll do an episode on Underdark deities if we do Daragar.
Yeah.
I think we should stay away from Illithid and,
Croatoan
and all that. Yeah.
Another.
Yeah, I think we would do a separate one on those. And that would be good because, for the Underdark community deities, because there's a lot of them. So that would be kind of neat.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sergeant has a couple of other goblinoid deities that are listed in the end of the goblinoid chapter, and that's Curialic and Mariadar, and then one that I think boringly just named Stalker.
Yeah, I saw Stalker, which is kind of cool.
Well, I don't mind the god per se, but the name is kind of just, I don't know. It's
but it's an elemental entity, and I think they don't know what to call it, so they're just calling it that.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Elder Elemental God.
Right. It doesn't say, because it says none of them goblinoids worship them.
Yeah.
It's a solitary entity.
The illustration under it is really cool.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting. So it just it doesn't say, because it says has ravening eternal hateful hunger for lives and souls. So, but it cannot oppose Grumsham Magluviate. So it focuses its hate on bugbears, kobolds, urds of using gnolls, and mongrel men. So if you go back up here, this one, Mariadar, is a god of mongrel men.
Yep.
And
then we have the urds.
The flying kobolds.
Oh, okay.
Kobolds
I've
with
heard
wings.
the urd term here and there, but I've never used them, so I haven't really studied who they are. So they're the flying kobolds, okay?
Yeah, Norkers fall into goblins. Norkers are goblins. Yep.
Yeah, the flints are hobgoblins, right?
Goblins who don't wear clothes.
Yeah, and they get to bite and attack. Yeah.
Yeah,
so
and the Flints are they hobgoblins?
Flints are hobgoblins.
Yeah,
hobgoblins. Absolutely.
Gnolls. They're gnolls.
Yeah. Gnolls. Yeah. What am I saying? I'm a dream. Yeah.
Gnolls. Sorry. Yeah.
Flints are gnolls. Yeah. Bugbears are cousins of goblins. So redeem the goblinoids away from evil. So yeah, it looks like Mariadar is a lawful neutral deity. Any non-evil Mongrelmen, non-evil goblinoids, god of patience, long-suffering, and tolerance. So, as a god who seeks peaceful solutions to conflicts. So there you go.
Yep.
There's your
And Mariadar is
pacifistic
interesting. Yep.
humanoids. Yep. Very, very cool there that you have the deities usually pacifistic and sends avatars for defensive purposes. So, yeah, Mariadar preaches peace, but they also defend Mongrelmen communities. So,
Nice.
and look here down here for shamans: alignment, lawful, neutral, and lawful good, and neutral.
Yep.
So you got multiple alignments down there. Interesting. So yeah, and Ald said there's Mariadar is a plane. Okay. Yeah, cool. So that sounds like in Planescape that one's been developed. And so you have Curialic is the patron deity of Urds. So yeah.
Yep.
So it says, serving a Curialic who stole a pair of magical feathered wings from the Cobalt god and captured Fertility, the Arakaka goddess. Then he flew away and carried the Urds as a rival to the Kobolds. A lot of people don't use Urds, but here's your opportunity. So this would fit perfectly in a sequel to Gargoyle. With stolen wings and wings that are detachable.
Ah, there you go.
Hey, Amy, good to see you. It's been a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Hello.
So, yes, the Urds. Where? Let me. I want to take a look at something here. Where? Is the only god? Are there other gods of the Gnolls in here, or is it just the one?
We have the orcish ones that we didn't talk about.
Yeah, look at that.
Hang on a second.
Really?
Ilnival, Shargas, are they?
Yeah, we talked about all that.
Yeah. They have Gurdreg, the orc hero. He's probably mentioned here.
He's probably forgotten the realms because I don't know the name at all. You remember this is a mixed book here.
Oh, that's true. So
yeah, you
have some weird ones. Yeah, exactly. There's some that's snuck in.
So, are you telling me that there's Yinu is not in here because he's a demon?
Yes, so.
He's not. Oh yeah, he is. Page 83. Oh, he's under demons, I bet.
Yeah.
They're tricky, aren't they?
We got a big dose on my Thursday night game. I'm playing Descent into Avernus, and you're
Demogorgon and stuff.
Deep in the Blood War.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I use in that a lot.
So that's interesting. During the giant chapter, that's weird. There goes Lord Tamari. All right, so you know is in here again, but you can find him in the original Monster Manual, right? So he's a demon lord. Yes, he is.
Interestingly, it's ghouls as well.
Yep. Interesting. So he has displaced Curialic from the broad following of Gnolls, not least because his priests have spellcasting and undead controlling powers over the shamans of the older deity. So Gnolls dislike giants while admiring to power. So there is a little reference in here why he's in here. So Curialic is a god in decline. His pre-injury dude was at least so they do have a second Gnoll god in here. Yep. He's a declining Gnoll god. So there is a second one in here, which is interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah. Is not more powerful than I use on the prime material. Yes, on the prime material, but not in the abyss. So if Ayu's got banned to the abyss, I think he'd get his ass kicked by this guy. So, yep. Interesting. Very cool. All right, so he's all over the place here. In the giants. Also, Vaprak is here. And if we go, all right. So if we go back here, this is one of my favorite pictures of all time.
Oh yeah, we have Baphomet and Kostic and Vaprak.
Yeah. So Vaprak is here, and if you go if you go into the original deities and demigods, ogres and trolls worship Vaprak the Destroyer. I've used Vaprak a lot, and if I recall, Vaprak had a big following in the original ruins of Greyhawk ruins. There's a whole cult of Vaprak in there that gets all wiped out.
There's some deal where two religions clashed in the War Tower dungeon. I can't remember who the other one was. Was it
Yeah.
Meryl, or was it another non-human? That I can't remember.
I'm not sure who it was in there. So he
But
gets
yeah, a lot of Vaprak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kostici has a lot of mentioning in the Gord books and when they're down in the abyss. He's one of Grat's allies, and he comes and he's so grumpy because all he wants is fighting. So, he stands there with his huge mallet or mace or whatever it is, and yeah, he's kind of grumpy.
Rich, you missed the beginning, and you can argue with Jim Ward and Rob Kuntz if you want, because let me scroll up here. At the very beginning of this part, and of course I scrolled down here. Non-human deities. It specifically states, it says up to name one. Here we go. Here we go. Monster Man Few Falls should be treated as lesser gods, so they rarely have human worshippers. And look at that list. I'm just trying to put the soul down right now and just put him in his place. There, you should. There you go. So Demogorgon, Jubilix, Orcus, Yunu, lesser gods should be treated. This is according to the original Deities and Demigods book. There you go.
Yep.
So
that's so good that they put that in there, and then they seem to have forgotten it in a lot of other.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying that
that
it's specifically stated here.
Yeah,
as
because
well,
I always assumed that the demon lords and the lords of hell and stuff, that they were gods, in equivalent to gods.
Yeah, and it's a good point here, especially if you're using priests and shamans and stuff for getting things. All right, let's go off on here. We'll do the one just to placate back here. Rich, who was on and asked. Here's Scarrett the Forester. So I'll do this just because I just busted on him. So the great guiding hand of forces of nature to keep everything in balance. So what's a centaur? It's not a demi-human, not a humanoid, but who cares, right? So it's kind of in that Fey world. And that or what do you call it, legend lore type, from human, good old human lore in the old days. So so basically it's a perfect centaur from their own race, and he dances and mock hunts every night of the full moon. Only 3rd level for shamans though. Many satyrs also work with Scarrett, though they have no clerical members. So something new there I did not know. So. Mythological, that's the right word, Amy. My brain's fried already on a Wednesday. So yeah. So centaurs are monsters. Yes. Are we crashing? Are we crashing on and off?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
But we own Zoom. Yeah.
All right. I just want to make sure. I don't have any drop frames. Maybe it's Twitch. So. Centaur clerics equals centaurs of disease. Yep. So I froze up for a split. All right, as long as it was only a split second. Okay. Some that we haven't gone through their humanoids here. Yeah. Giants, hill giants. You can do giants in this. So you have Growlanter, huge and powerful hill giant. His club is specifically named Dwarf Crusher, which is, I think, find that cool.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it kind of fits. Yeah.
Growlanter's probably written on the side too.
Yes, we have that half ogre in our game named Kruk, who basically has a baseball bat too, right, with something written on it. Growlanter's creed is persecution of all inferior races, those smaller than hill giants. So there you go. Yes, it probably was. All right, I just. Sorry, I just got a text from someone. Now it was from John. It was John from Blue Box. All good. John, John hasn't streamed the last 2 days, so. Ettins also worship Growlanter, which is cool, though in a slightly different two-headed aspect. So there you go.
But Ettins are part of the giant family. I think that they're usually kind of they're related to the giants. I think.
I think that's why Vaprak is so cool. Because he doesn't look like the humanoids that worship him.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that makes him more fearsome because of that.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And that's a real good thing. Is I love Vaprak. I just love the chaos of him. Thanks, Sean. Thank you so very much for doing that. And I'm glad to see you had a really nice bump up on your stream on Monday night. That was awesome. So. the stone giants worship Screas stone bones, who just sleeps, if I recall. He just hangs
That's
out.
such a great
Okay.
alliterative name.
The
Yes.
most laid-back deity of all.
Living rock. Knows everything that happens in the areas by touching and listening to vibrations around him. But I don't think he does much. He never ventures above ground. He can't even be gated there. So he just... Stone giant shamans cultivate an attitude of indifference and aloofness. So there you go. They regard both law and chaos with suspicion, and are inclined to repulse the overtures of either. There you go. So
He could be the stone man from Neverending Story. So gigantic.
So does everyone agree with me that the stone giants in the Hobbit were stupid?
Oh, you mean yeah?
Yeah, I always thought that they were. I always got the picture that they were real giants throwing rocks at each other, not mountains.
Exactly, they're way too big.
Yeah.
They're way too big to function, so to speak. That they're just like they're like humans compared to insects, so to speak. It's like yeah, you can't fight them or anything. They're just
CGI artists are gonna.
Well, they
do their
would.
art.
Yeah, things are. That's. I think it was a good example of a things got too big. So yeah.
So there are other. So if you're looking for who the fire giants, and I find this interesting.
Mhm.
The fire giants and the frost giants, you go to Norse mythology. Now, why is that? Do you
Well,
think?
it's, the
Ready-made.
giants are so common in Norse mythology.
Right.
That was part of, that was the essential part of Norse mythology was the giants. Meaning Jotunheim is the home of giants, and that's an area in modern day Norway.
But doesn't that connect the whole Norse mythology now world to Greyhawk or to wherever?
Indirectly, yeah.
Yeah,
Indirectly,
and
yeah.
that's,
Because well, in a way maybe, but not
Right.
directly.
So
But there is a tradition of giants in Norse folklore and stuff. Yeah, and trolls too. Yeah.
and didn't Surtur get at the end of Ragnarok, Thor Ragnarok? Didn't he get summoned and it was just like this huge piece of fire? Yeah, that's a great book. That is a good book there, Mike. Definitely.
Yeah, Surtur, he's the fiery guy.
Yeah. So you have Surtur for fire giants, which is kind of cool, and Thrym for the frost giants. So you have your deities here in Norse mythology, which was
deities
pulled
and demigods
before.
here.
And to the right, just a little sidebar, Uller was used. We used Uller a lot early on, for Archer, the Archer class as the deity. Once again, not having a Greyhawk Deities in 1980, you had this. So that's where that's a lot of
So I
them
would pick.
Yeah. So
They used a lot of Greek gods and Norse gods out of that book.
Norse and Finnish for us. Yeah,
Mm.
that's where we went for the most part. So it's cool though. Yep, absolutely. It's a good thing to see that they were thinking about. I don't know if it's like, well, we already had them from mythology. We don't need to remake them. That's my thought process on that. But
it would end up being the same god, just with a different name.
Right, exactly.
So they just did it.
Yeah. Odin and
on a deity one, we'll ask which are cooler, and that is the Valkyrie or the Air Maiden. We'll do that in a future discussion. Because I like, the Valkyries are cool, but the Air Maidens from Uko are cool too. So, like I said, I still have Uko as a deity in my game. Let's go back to non-humans here, bouncing all over the place. Nawan. Big area for... all right. So, the newest source card is the hobbies. Let me see what we got here. As we keep on moving forward, we'll do Underdark at a future time. Here it says Norse worship demon worships Yinu, and that's all they go over there. The Zidixactyl worship Demogorgon. Pretty cool.
Pretty weird.
Pretty weird. Pretty weird. And that is well, he's the demon of all sorts of crazy stuff, right? Lord of all sorts of weird things.
But not Ettins.
Not Ettins. He's got baboon heads, right?
Yeah.
So and then Blip will be Underdark. All right, Lizardmen.
Yeah.
Is there any other monster mythology for Lizardmen, or are there any at all for Lizardmen in here?
Well, we have the scaly folks. Let's look.
Do we have scaly folk? What page is it?
Yeah, we have scaly folks in Month of Mythology.
What page is it, scaly?
97.
All right, so I can just go there and see what we got.
And that takes the dragon ones too, and then Bleedy Ball Pulp.
Yeah, which is
Pulp,
they mixed
yeah.
everything together. Here.
Lidul Pulp. Yep.
Yeah, lesser gods.
Well, they have scales.
Sessanek. Sessanek.
Well,
Simuran.
so they got some in here. They got some of the same in here. Oh, it's got Quaddle. Huh. Interesting. All right. So if we go back to the original deities and demigods, you got Samayana. Now I find this really interesting. This is me like with my brain spinning here. On hey, little bones, good to see you. They use the word it describing this one all the time. They don't say he or she, like Vaprak or whatever.
Well, yeah. Corellan Larethian is also by gender, so to speak, described as both or neither. I think.
But it's not described as it.
No, but it's written out that it's one of these that Corellan Larethian can be, I think, both or none. I think.
Right.
So you're thinking that this god is like mother and father god?
I don't know,
Yeah,
because it says in battle it wields a large club. It regenerates 5 hit points per round. It doesn't say he, she.
Yeah.
It says
but
it.
But reptiles have their genders are kind of mixed up and changed and stuff in weird ways, a bit like fish. So it can be in some species. So they might have been an homage to reptilians, kind of different setups of stuff. So there might be something like that. I don't know, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just one of those things I noticed as a kid. Like all the others are gendered except for
but
this
maybe
one.
But maybe that god is the sole parent of its race or something like that, or it's
Never noticed
creatures.
That.
Yeah, me neither. But it's interesting that things like that come in. Yep. That's cool.
It's only one of all of them.
Yeah.
So and then you have Lokatha and Merman Adro. So you do have more underwater.
Oh, cool stuff. Okay, so he's referred to as he in monster myth.
Really? Okay, yeah.
There you go.
There you go. I just found that weird as a kid. Even the word "it" was used there.
Yeah.
So very interesting. So you have your Lakatha and Merman Adro. We already group. You troglodytes. Didn't do troglodytes yet. Lagozid, and that is a demigod. A vile being whose appearance suggests both toad and lizard. So
I only got half of an illustration. I think it's cool.
Yes, you don't know what on the other end. This has a Cthulhu look to it too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It really has the Cthulhu, like all the stuff coming out of pores and all. It gives you that feel. So that may not have been a conscious choice. I don't know. I just found it weird. That's one of those weird things I noticed all those years. So, yep, we're right there with Sahagwin and Sekala's right here too. So, the most important rites in the worship of Lagozid are always held far below ground at midwinter. Troglodytes gather together for the ritual of the shedding of skins. So that's pretty cool that they put that in here.
Yeah. Meaning they have a lot of homage to reptilian biology. So yeah, that's cool.
Lagozid is brought up in Savage Tide. That's cool to know that.
I ran an entire dungeon campaign from it was just one of your old school off the cavern exploration, and I had a lot of troglodytes in it. Did not use Lagozid. Missed opportunity.
Well, yeah, I mean, but we all do that, Mike, right? We always, that's one of the.
I knew better.
It's one of the good things about having these kind of discussions and bringing up.
I think I fell for the old kill troglodytes. They're monsters. Don't worry about the culture. I think I fell for that.
Yeah, because all right. So here's a question. Give me who does. This is a trick question. Who do bullywugs worship?
Oh.
Let me see if Anna knows.
No, I don't know.
That's a trick question.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mike.
It's Wastry.
Yes! Gotcha. It's not one of these.
There you go.
Wastry.
I should have known
Yes.
that. Damn. Yeah, I
Yes.
should have known
Now,
that.
Kermit, yes, Jason. Wastry.
Kermit. Yep.
It'd be
The
something
hopping
else.
prophet.
Yes. No, Wastry all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Come on, Horn Holes cover. Yeah.
Yeah.
Avenger. Yeah, Avenger.
Yeah, Wenger. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So, the Sahagrin worship a shark, a great white.
Ooh.
Sikala. Yep.
All it says go to Monster Mythology.
For which one?
For Bullywug.
Bullywugs have a deity in Monster Mythology. Okay, let's find it. So, as we're doing it, Sikala appears as a giant white shark. Sahagrin lore says that Sikala swims in the deepest parts of the seas of the Nine Hells. Very cool. So, more Nine Hells deities here. Sahagrin sacrifice their weak, crippled, and aged to Sikala. They're the ultimate social Darwinists. So, Remenos. Okay, well, I was just right there in this book.
Huh.
Here it is. Remenos is a sleeping god, referred now only to bullywugs, the degenerate descendant of races of proto-amphibians. Now, remember this. Wastry doesn't fit in Forgotten Realms. It's a Greyhawk deity specifically, so that's why it makes sense that they have another deity here. So, but in Greyhawk, it's Wastry all the way. I mean, absolutely.
I would just have them worship the Laogzed
too. Okay.
You know, as well as the Trogs.
But bullywugs don't radiate stench, and that's the main thing for Lagozid too. So, you know, bullywugs are amphibian, and Lagozid's reptilian.
All right.
So that's a tough one. Yeah. But as far as, you know, they have a deity in here too, which you can bring in. So, like it says, his enormous mouth opens to swallow a sacrifice, dominate the plazas and open areas around them. Yeah, the god may even have half forgotten those halcyon days sleeping in the abyss. So there you go. It's a sleeping bullywug.
Yeah. Ald's right. Wastry's just pulling an IUs on the bullywugs. And then, but instead of, you know, he thinks he is like, because he's the god of self-delusion. You know, he thinks he's this great human or whatever, but he's actually probably took on the bullywug culture from being around him.
Yeah, that is where he is based, right? I think there is definitely Wastry worshiping beyond the vast swamp at this point. Well, at least in my campaign there is, because it's so cool. Who's this Parafair? Demigod. Secret places usually far below the ground. Which one? I'm missing it. Who's he worship? I mean, who's he of? For what? Which demi-humans? Nagas. Parafair is the guardian of magical secrets and hidden places usually far below the ground. Naga. Male Naga head with feathered ears. Huh.
You have to save that. Nagas don't have feet.
Yeah. Very cool. I didn't even know they had a deity. I've never used it. This is one I've never used. So
Same.
good to depth in through this. There's Samanyana again. So Sesinik is a Tamari lord who's grown weary of the blood war. Lizard Kings. This is the Lizard King deity. So Lizard Kings don't worship Samanyana. They worship this Sesinik. Very cool.
They're too good.
Well, they are. They're chaotic evil.
Yeah.
So most of them are Lizard Kings. So any Lizardman shaman's chaotic evil. Nice.
Speaking of Lizard King, hey,
Gary. Hey, there's Gary. So I think they're akin to Shikinister.
Hello.
I love Lizard King. So Sesinik. All right. Here's a triple. All right, so this one is another Naga, Shikinister, triple aspected appearing in the Weaver and the Empower and the Preserver. So it says a complex and all-embracing deity that in different worlds can have a myriad number of interrelations with other gods. There you go. Weaver Crone.
And the Empower Maiden, yeah, kind of.
It's been bouncing all around, Gary. You know how it is. You know. Plus, Blue Box didn't stream tonight, so none of the Blue Box fans who are watching came in tonight. So there you go. So none of them at all. It
I'm
seems
just
like
happy
are
to
on.
be here, Gary.
Yes. Yes. Very similar to the Norns. It sounds like it. Yeah. Very sounds like it as far as this. It's almost a three-headed aspect deity. That is pretty interesting too. Let me go back up to the top here. All right. So as far as humanoids, so in the Roger Moore articles, canon for Greyhawk.
I would say yeah.
Absolutely, and you know we did discuss them earlier on, so I would say 100% for me. Yes,
those articles have been built upon by authors after him, not contradicted, as far as I know.
Yeah. So if we go back here, Guy, which we discussed earlier, these three deities especially, I really like. Of course, then I scroll. Oh, the bandits in here too. You know, this was done very well, along with all the other orcish deities that Roger Moore has in the previous issue. Yeah, for me, 100%. I say yes as far as that goes. Now, when it comes to monster mythology, like I said, this is a hybrid for Forgotten Realms and Greyhawk.
Mm-hmm.
So you have a lot of options in this book, and it's done very well, and it's in depth. So everything you need is in here. A couple exceptions, but you know, beyond that, you have deities that are that I'm not, you know, I wouldn't utilize a lot, but there are some. Well, there is. Here we go. So there is one in here that if I go to page 51, they do add on some others, which is really good. Here they add on to. So this is Bargravik is not in the Roger Moore articles, and this one is so this deity is servants work to minimize and mediate disputes within goblin tribes and also between them. So this is another deity. Always fears displeasing Maglobit or Norma Gaia. So this seems to be it's lawful evil though, but a cooperation deity of goblins. That's interesting. Hey, you can do whatever there, Rich. If you win it and Anna approves whatever you say, you got it. So if you win, great, man. I'm just gonna make sure you don't. I'm just kidding. No, I can't do that. I can't do that at all. So look, here's I guess he's coming to a mediation table here on this. So this is another deity that doesn't appear earlier on in the early editions, and I've never utilized them. Has anyone used them?
Nope.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. When I read through it today, I realized that's cool. They need to use him.
I like that name, Cal Steffi. You and the Drunken Duck. I love that name. That is awesome. So this avatar speaks all Goblinite and demi-human languages. Interesting. And can use any spell which permits direct communication.
Yep.
Very cool. So thinking outside the box, you could have a priest of this deity coming in, and you could be in an adventure where you have a hobgoblin. You could be in a Pomarge, wherever. A hobgoblin and a goblin tribe are fight, and instead of having to slaughter all them, you figure out a way that you get your objective done by doing something as far as getting this deity involved, this shaman or priest involved. I mean, there's all sorts of options you can have, And I'm not saying hack and slash isn't a good thing here all the time. I'm just saying that there's options and thoughts you can use with a deity like this. So
you can confuse things with something like that. They can split up the enemy and start discussions and all sorts of stuff.
Yep. So you guys are giving away all your ideas here. Someone's going to win it tonight, Someone will win. Someone's going to win this.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, and we'll soon find out. We'll soon find that out.
Yep.
So that's another cool deity. Are there any other ogre/troll deities beyond Vatprak in here?
Not that I know of.
I was wondering if they had made one up beyond ogres and trolls. It seems to be
Ogres I can see having deities and culture like that. Troll, do they really need deities and stuff? Do they? Or maybe they do. Maybe they're refined enough to start thinking.
Yeah, I'm curious
in
as to
spiritual terms.
Mhm.
I see trolls
Let me
more
tell
like.
you about ogres and trolls.
Please.
Okay, ogres, trolls, bugbears, and gnolls, all of those can worship Erythmal.
Yeah, true. I have, yeah, yeah.
So there you go.
Yep.
All the chaotic evils, the base chaotic evil humanoids.
Erythmal ostensibly is an Oridian god, but he polymorphs into all these different races. So he can appear to a troll as a troll.
Yeah.
Yep.
And go.
And I don't think trolls are that fussy when it comes to that. Someone who can give them strength and motivation is probably good enough for a troll.
Yeah, well, true, Rich. But when you're thinking about this, I bet you. Let me see what it says here in the Vatprak. Look at this line here.
Yes.
Ogres and trolls can be shamans of up to the 3rd level. So they can
even
be,
trolls.
Even trolls.
Troll shamans, that's cool. Yes. That is awesome. Cool.
Yep. Virtual, they have Vatprak being a deity that killed another absorbing which it's one of those interesting
sounds right.
Yeah,
but
good idea.
You can say that the smartest trolls in the tribe could be a shaman.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. So, but that's a great point, Mike. Is that you just put together all the chaotic evil humanoids of the base we're talking about pre-giants, ogres being the top of that, right? And then going down, then you got bugbears, chaotic evil, gnolls, chaotic evil, and trolls, all chaotic evil. And they're all large size too.
Yeah.
So it just make as far as Vatprak goes, and all the others below all tend to be lawful evil, more tribal, right? Kobolds, goblins, hobgoblins.
Yeah, I see trolls living more in smaller groups, like family and close kin kind of thing, maybe 20 or so. Not huge. They don't organize in huge groups.
Yes. So Gary just said the trolls are smarter than Torgan. That's funny. Nice one, Gary. Nice one. So yeah, there is always going to be, and this is where for Greyhawk it's cool. You can take a Greyhawk deity for your humanoids, or a true humanoid deity for your, or maybe both in some instances, right?
Oh, you can use some of the demon lords and stuff too.
Absolutely,
and devil and demon lords too. I think.
Orcus.
Yeah, exactly. Orcus, Grass,
Undead.
Kustichi.
Yep. Kustichi's good for giants, right?
Exactly. A whole bunch of these kind of demon, devil, and various lords.
Who's the god of ogre magi? Wow, that's a great question, Rich. That's a great question. Let's see what All Dragon says on that, since he's done a lot of research. I bet you as far as some additional ogre deities and Forgotten Realms product, they had different kind of. Yeah, so once again with Forgotten Realms, they go as it's still Vatprak. That's interesting that it's still Vatprak because they're lawful evil and a little different. Who's the god of Quaggoths?
Oh,
I have no idea. That's Underdark, isn't it?
It's an Underdark question. We're gonna do an Underdark deity one, Gary. But my guess is I'm gonna go off on a tangent here, and I'm gonna say Loth, just because that they enslave themselves to the Dark Elves. That's the only reason.
Loth rules them too. Yeah.
That's my guess. That's a guess there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So there are good. Wait a minute. So Storm Power. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
There are good aligned giants right in Monster Manual 2. The Furbolg are good aligned.
Yeah, we also have the Storm Giants and
Storm Giants are kind of good.
Yeah.
Right. So there are good aligned, and so can Cloud Giants be.
The good ogres and dragonlance, I think, were a player race.
Yeah. What's it? What was that? What, Mike? One more time. I'm sorry. It's a
The
good
the
question.
good ogres in Dragonlance, I believe, were a player race.
Oh, cool.
That's all. That's the only thing I can recall.
Nice.
About
Well, so you have evil. So in that Monster Manual 2, you have the evil Verbigs, very bigs, right? Which were like the behemoths, which are like almost a step above ogres, right? One step above ogres. You had the Formorians, which are came right out of Shokanth and are truly chaotic evil. And then you have the Furbolgs, which are chaotic good. So, and you also have Wood Giants. Remember the Wood Giants? They were actually Vodkin. Yes, Vodkin are good.
But I get the sense that we group together the giants because of their size, but I also get the sense that some giants are not related to other giants. Some of them are like goblinoids that grew big. Some of them more trollish. Some of them come from somewhere else and grew big. So just because they are big and have 2 legs and 2 arms doesn't necessarily mean that they're related. They can actually have different origins and kin that are closer to them than the other giants, so to speak.
So I'm gonna answer a Gary question with a stupid answer. Well, kind of. So in my world, are you ready for this? There are 2 different types of Lossels. There are the Lossels of Ayus, where they bred the baboons with the orcs, right? So there you go. They are chaotic evil. I'd say they're Ayusian worshippers.
Yeah.
Then there are the Lossels of the Mongrels of the Putrid Tongue, where the orcs are breeding with anything and just happen to breed with any ape.
Oh, so they are natural Lossels. The other one are bred Lossels.
Right. So they're not Ayusian worshippers. So the Mongrels of the Putrid Tongue really, the deity, it's not a religious based organization. So I'm going to say that those are going to be more going to be Luthick or whatever orcish
the Putrid
deities.
Tongue are more Pomage based or
Thanks, Rich.
around that area.
Please. Yeah. The Mongrels of Putrid Tongue are all in the Cairn Hills.
Oh, okay.
The Cairn Hills is their base.
Oh, okay, on that side. Okay.
Yes, and the Ayusian Lossels are in the Vespi mostly. So there you go. Do orcs worship Ayus by default? Yes, and I'd say because they're specifically bred by Ayusian as in my game level gaining orcs. They are not Ogrillans in my game, so that's a tough thing. Yes, Rakshasa have Ravana, which is right in the Rakshasa article by Scott Benny. Ravana is detailed in that article, and I don't have it here because it's in my monster folder, my monster sub one, because my favorite monsters are Rakshasa. So sends it. Yes. So and if I have to do it, I have it linked. If you want to know what a mongrel of the Putrid Tongue is, here you go.
Enough of this shit. Give me the tongue. Thanks for the lick.
I haven't shown that in a while.
It still is visceral.
It's been a while since I showed the Mongrels of the Putrid Tongue. Disturbing, Gary said.
Yeah, you have to warn the audience before you show that one.
Yes, Ravana is a real Hindu deity, absolutely, and a Rakshasa, a real from Hindu Indian lore. So yes, that is the Mongrels of the Putrid Tongue, which they take your tongue out and they put their tongues on the shields and they animate them. And the more tongues you have, the higher status you have. But they do breed orcs, as it says right in the monster manual. Orcs will breed with anything. It says it right there, and they have all sorts of crazy mixes. And they found the secret formula for breeding orcs and elves. Well, it's lost now to time, but they're trying to regain it. There is a way to breed an orc with an elf, even though it says it's not possible in the monster manual. So there you go. You like that? Sorry, hey, I had to show it. We had to show it once in a blue moon there. So there's a secret way to do it, but there's only one that existed, and that one is dead. So currently, yep.
Speaking of orc hybrids, Gary, now that Rich is gone, I can bring up my Sewell humanoid god.
Oh, nice. Let's do that. So let me flip.
So much to the shame of the Sewell, this is kind of a kept secret. There is a deity in the Sewell pantheon that's half orc. And then
really?
Nazarn, the demigod of gladiators.
Okay.
He started out in the Scarlet Brotherhood, I believe, fighting, traditional gladiator combat and worked his way up the ladder until he impressed Cord, and Cord made him a demigod. So he's in the Soul Pantheon. This is a 3rd edition Living Ground Journal creation.
Do you have the Living Ground Journal number? Does anyone have that?
The one that has the gods.
Okay.
I'm gonna spitball like 4 or 5, issue 4 or 5.
What's a Tanaruk, Thunder? I don't even know what a Tanaruk is in Greyhawk. Orc Demon touched by Baphomet.
Oh.
Why not?
That's in 5e.
Why not? That's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, to have those as actually not with IUs, but I have a long-term plot line going on with some Orcus stuff going on in my game right now too. So there's no reason not to use demons, as lesser gods in your game. I mean, I think it's a great direction. Absolutely do it. Yeah, Tanaruk Forgotten Realm. It doesn't. Yeah, but there's no reason they can't be that idea with a Baphomet orc mix that cannot be brought into your game. Yeah, no reason. Like I said, the Lossel thing I thought was genius when it first came out. So
thanks, Cal.
thank you
Issue
so
3.
very much. Yes,
I knew it was in the top 5 issues.
Yeah.
Issue 5 is Zeef.
Yeah, no, it's great. Thank you,
I
All
knew it
Dragon.
was
I
somewhere.
didn't know where it was from because
Yeah.
I imagine. I'm going to ask Ed that. I'm putting down an Ed note question there. Ed, ask about the Tanaruk and see if who made them.
Guarantee he didn't make that.
No, you never know.
That's just my gut feeling.
Oh, Ed almost made everything, and that it's crazy. So I'm hitting that up. Just remember, we're a couple weeks away from watching Ed Greenwick playing my game again, along with Anna and a lot of other great people. So can't wait. Tony Winslow Brill, who great. Eric Boyd, the father of the specialty priests in the deity books. So
Yep.
And Tui's Hellgate Keep. Okay, cool. Yep. So it's the Tazloy and it's who.
Yeah. That's another one. Yeah.
Or all those little things. Dark Creepers. I don't know who the Deities of Dark Creepers is. What's
Save
another?
that.
Or Germ Lanes. It's got to be a
Save
fit.
that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Underdark, right? That's Underdark.
Yeah, that's
Underdark. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm saving Germlane.
Yeah, and then if we go to brownies and stuff, that's all Fae. So I know there's some that we missed too. Like so there's a god of the Arakakra, right? Is that in here under winged in the monster? Let me flip to here.
It should be under demi-humans, I guess. It's not on
Sarantia. Okay. Page 94. Thank you. Nice to have you on tonight for this. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you can participate a little bit more in discussions. All that's really awesome. Thank you so very much. Sarantia. All right. So Sarantia is one era member of the Asphodium, partly because of great friendship with Airdrie Fania, who we know is an elven deity, and consequent friendship with Deep Shalissus, which we know is the deity of Lakatha and Merriman, right? And partly because she sinks as many. No, Deep Shalissus is the other one. Oh God, my brain just went off. All right, so yes, she enjoys music and song. So there you go. Sarantia is the Arakakra goddess. Look, they even have more. Trishina is the consort to Deep Shalissus. Blah.
Silas.
Yes. So that's good. How many people here use Arakakra or Greyhawk? They're actually in the Greyhawk tables.
I know that, but I kind of
Probably only on random encounter charts.
Okay. So remember, I'm the one that's actually used Al-Karak Elam in my game, the Wingfolk. But that was in the 80s. And I realize how quickly that gets out of hand, as having them as player characters and NPCs in an adventuring party.
Yeah.
Having them just being able to fly around is really
Yeah, but flying is so easy to achieve in like fantasy worlds, meaning like things like dragon and stuff could fly. They could be as big, heavy, and powerful as any monster. In reality, they need to be frail and light and vulnerable in order to take to the air, so to speak. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, Gary. They worship a different head, which is kind of interesting there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I see no reason why you can't have humanoids worshiping devils, demons. I mean, at any point,
I think
they
that's
fit perfectly.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that the demon lords are so powerful is that they have
Yeah.
various things that
Good
worship them.
point. Very good point there, Anna, on that. Water lion. Oh my God, this is all underwater. Oh, look at that. Why would you have a picture of the Temple of Elemental Evil in here?
They needed
What?
art, and they
Oh
didn't
my
have any other
gosh.
art, so it was probably something they liked, art they liked, and they had a page over, so they
Oh
just
my
put it in there.
God.
It seems to be
Wait.
because it's kind of not related really with the text.
Yeah, we went through Parafair and Ravenous and all them. So I mean, we did all those.
So the Temple of Elemental Evil, the Horde of Elemental Evil, also had significant humanoid armies.
Yes.
And whatever's worshipped there.
Yeah.
So he wasn't he wasn't humanoid god.
No, but it was the Elder Elemental God, right?
I was going to say, and the Elder Elemental God is in the monster mythology, so that's one of the cool ones. Yep.
Yeah. So if we go, all right. So we're gonna touch that. Let's just touch that because it's under elves, right? It's under dark elves.
It's I forgot where he was,
hold
but
on
he
one
is.
second. I'm scrolling up. That's a good point here.
Hang on a second. Now I lost.
Are you sure he's not in demi-human deities?
He's somewhere, but I forgot where. I saw it before.
I think. Oh, there he is, page 66. The Elder Elemental God. I got it. So it's a good point. Very good point.
The Lost Gods. That's the chapter he's under.
All right. So here's the Elemental God. Now we got to remember that there's always conjecture about Gonador, Tharazden, the Elder Elemental God. We know for a fact that Ed has said they're not the same. Okay, in discussions, he said the Elder Elemental God's separate from Gonador. So he's already stated that. So here's the Elder Elemental God, which appears in G3 and D3. Right, with worshiping locations in those adventures. Plus, in my opinion, the Temple of Elemental Evil, this is what they're all worshiping as well. With all the the elemental, you got all the different aspects in there. Mayfair always put 3 books of Monsters and Myth. Number 3 was written by Alan Hammock. Yeah, in fact, Alan Hammock talked about that when he was on the show a couple months ago about his stuff and how they forgot to put his name on the first one. He was like, "My name's not even on the front cover. How they So yeah, Alan Hammock's good. All right, so you have here, and it says here, priests bend all their being to reserving the god and attempting to locate and enact the rituals which draw more power into the prime material plane, which fits perfectly with what's going on in those temples, right? They locate lost shrines of the elder god and cleanse them, rededicate them to service of the deity. So,
and he seems to have a connection to the Pomage. Elder Elemental God seems to have a
why? I'm curious as your thought as to why on that.
Well, it's simple. That's where he popped up the first time if I remember correctly. But I might be wrong. No, it might be something I remember wrong.
No, he popped up first in It popped up first in G3 against the Giants.
Okay.
Which is in the Hell Furnaces. Yeah, it pops up as a location that you can actually go and get yourself slaughtered in if you're not careful in there. And my thought was it was there because Eclavdra first appears in G3, and Eclavdra is a worshiper of the elemental god, so they have the Dark Elves able to do their worshiping there. Then a copy of it appears in D3 in Vault of the Drow as well, in the House Elseer's estate as well. There's in the what do you call it? In Arohai Sinlu in the great area of the Drow as well. So he gets Lunir. Skip Williams gets Canadian nickel every time someone plays Gargoyles. Yeah, we were talking about the Urds and how the Urds would be a great conflictor of the gargoyles in that adventure, and there should be a sequel called Urds instead of gargoyles. I agree 100% there. Yeah. So, so Anna, getting back to Elder Elemental God, I know you're thinking tie-in with the Earth Dragon. I know, right?
Was just my thought that they were
Okay.
tied in together, but they're not. Then okay,
Yeah,
so,
no, they're really really not, and I
There you
think
go.
yeah, and I think it's an early Gary Gygax mystery dead god
he
thing.
just wanted to have something that was a mystery and
Right.
never thought to
Yeah.
explain it, or never got to explain
Yeah.
it. Okay.
All right, so let me. Oh, thank you there, Sean. Thank you. So, isn't it suck that you got to manually do this right now? Auto host doesn't work anymore. I mean, it's crazy because I have all these hosts set up and a list of all these streams, and unless I'm home, I have to and get them set up. It's kind of annoying. So, in fact, I got a Twitch survey, and I told them that just recently. So, questions from the audience. Says, look, we're almost a quarter up about any of the deities or anything we discussed and use. So, and there's room for maneuverability with these. I think it's great.
definitely. Yep.
You can have so many different options. Absolutely, keep them mysterious, and that's what I think Ed said. He didn't want that to be, it's Gonadar. No, it's its own. Along with Tharsden. Tharsden should be mysterious and like the ultimate evil that could come back one day. One of those. So, hey, Corey, good to see you, man. But any others that you want to discuss real quick? So. I think Twitch said they felt it was confusing.
I'm happy we got this far.
Awesome. So
me too.
Anna, you and Mike got to talk because I'm old and I have to hit the restroom real quick. Be right back.
Oh,
so go.
Okay.
See, now you screwed again. No, but the interesting the elder elemental god and the elder dragon, that was something that I haven't used either of them, so I just had them mixed up. So yeah.
My brain tends
Earth
to
dragon
shut
and-
off whenever you say elder something. My brain just shuts off.
So you have the
'Cause
elder elemental god and
I-
the earth dragon. I just because I
avoided
never
that.
used them really, so they
Use
just
Earth Dragon.
okay, there you go. So
But yeah,
thank you.
humanoid. So though, it's going back to the beginning when we were talking about we only had the one god for every orc, goblin, etc. And then the Greyhawk deities, much like with the demi-humans, you could say Yandala, is the god of this, but hey, we also have Yula.
Exactly. All of a sudden they had like half a dozen. They became like the humans. They got the whole
you could
menagerie.
almost get away with no humanoid gods in Greyhawk.
Well, you have you have the demons and you have the other evil ones that you can kind of But
you could just have them worshiping Ius or worshiping Erythnol, Hextor, whatever.
Yeah. And they can also make sense since some of them have been allied or subjugated by various humans who've used or worshipped these gods, like the Great Kingdom and Hextor and stuff like that. So
Forgotten Temple Thursden, that's S something.
I think isn't it S1?
It's WG4.
Oh, WG4.
S4 is what do you call it?
Oh, it's part of the very peak thingy.
Series.
No, Shokanth and then Tharsden. And so one of the things on that discussion, and that Carlos brings up a great point, is that Tharsden should be a prequel to Shokanth, not a sequel. He's absolutely correct. So if you've never run Tharsden and Shokanth, run Tharsden first. That's my suggestion too. It makes total sense that the way they're written out. And
spoiler, but if you run Thursden first, you're not going to do something. I'm sorry. It's like, let's run two horrors first and then do against the giants.
Well, well, if you're dumb, if you're stupid, I'm sorry, you could die through that.
Well, you can run them, but you have to have new characters for the next one. So
yeah, they're both good adventures.
Yeah, but it's good that they have the WG, so they have the world of Greyhawks.
On Thursday.
They're really they're signed or like numbered or.
So I'm sorry about that. It's just
urges worship gods.
I don't know there, Gary. You're getting a little wacky on us there with Sturges.
Yeah. Well, you never know if trolls has it. Yeah.
Trolls at least have low
Yeah.
intelligence. I think Sturges have animal intelligence, right?
Yeah, at best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's strange? I've read Thousand of Years. I don't think I've ever read it. Well, you should read it because it's good. And it has the first appearance ever of the Mountain Giant, the first appearance ever of Norkers, and some other cool things. And just a little hint: don't pick the wrong fruit. That's all I'll say. Yeah. It's a tough module for players. It is a tough module for players, but modules aren't supposed to be easy. So, and like I said, I think it works better beforehand if they survive it before Shokanth. So, but you can decide. It's a nice time to mythology for humanoid monsters having their own created deities. Why would a human guy? Yeah. Well, why would
That's true.
Yes, right. No, you're absolutely correct.
Erythanol does literally create humanoids. When he gets cut, according to the Lin,
Oh.
wait, who ran it? Gygax?
When
he gets cut, his blood creates trolls.
It was,
See, there you go. Then Erythanol should be part of their deity list. Yeah.
Yeah, and there are plenty. Like, for example, orcs. An orc that loves pestilence and death. You can do Yurchus or Incabulus. Why not? Right?
Yeah.
You can do both.
Maybe they're aspects of the same deity.
Incabulus hangs out with hags. Do hags worship Incabulus?
Maybe they do. Yeah, some of them might very well do.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot.
It might be a hag lord that is behind both of these or these deities. You never know. So yeah.
Well, Gary, I don't think Earthel's the first humanoid. He's the first chaotic evil humanoid. Maybe, maybe he's been around since that. Because remember, definitely not orcs. Grumps is all orc all the way, right? So Earthel took the other larger chaotic evil ones. So yeah, absolutely.
Very mythological.
It's very mythological, and Erythel's a very well written up deity, which a lot of the Greyhawk deities are.
Yeah.
And you once again you get options here for which you didn't have when I started playing. We had a great book by Jim Ward and Rob Kuntz that was Deities and Demigods. We had enough of deities in there, but we didn't have our Greyhawk deities. They just didn't exist, So we had people worshiping Uller and Uko, and the evil ones were Leviatar and Heisi, and Balder. We had someone worshiping Balder. I remember, it was really attractive. They worship, and Scythe. We Thor, all those back in the day, because we didn't have. And in fact, Gary's first campaign was Thor. Was it Thor and Odin, right? Were the two deities in. So yeah, so even Gary Gygax's game had Norse deities in it back in the day. So yep, look at that, Jason. Great minds think alike, Jason. So Elrond Hubbard's Galdereni. That's funny, Gary. That was really funny. In fact, who does Rennie worship? That's a good question.
Elrond Hubbard and Rennie.
Yeah.
I used to think that they were atheistic.
Well, they're Scientologists. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I owe you a sir. No problem, Jason. Here. Schweppes. Hey, Kayla! So if you want to, here, I'll do oh man, don't you hate it when you put caps lock on and you're just like, So if you all want to see Kayla playing in the game on the 13th.
Yes, if you want to.
Yes, with 4 brand new players, and Kayla's going to be my level-headed person in that adventure because Josh Pop won't be. So and Josh is in there, so we got
good luck.
Darling Creepshow, Little Bones, the Mandy Myriad X, and Tamara's wife, along with Josh Pop on the 13th. Back-to-back weeks of Saturday night specials. Woo! Gygax stole 30 dealies from Real One Myths. Yes. Good to see you, Kayla. Hope things are good. I do need to talk to you about that character generation, because that'll be a new, that'll be third, fourth level.
3d6 down the line.
So, 10 minutes off, and I know you're all excited about who's going to get to choose Anna's name for her right? So,
Yep.
note we got 2 giveaways tonight in addition. Troller Games, we're going to do a $25 gift certificate. We're also going to do, because Captain Rob gave back the 5th edition version of the Gaxmore book and digital download, which has the singing siren in it for inns from Sunday night, plus Anna's choosing of the name of her tavern/inn and Bogville? What's it?
Bogford.
Bogford. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
So there you go.
Bogford.
So
Because it is a ford across the river.
Bogford. Perfect
They
name.
have a big bog or swampy area and a lake next to it. So yeah.
So we already know from this, and we're not going to do it next week, but we're going to split these up. But we're going to do Underdark Deities. Okay, we're definitely going to do that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
have
another
to.
Show. Yeah.
Have to do that. Go through all those.
Bring your pitchforks.
We should probably do demi-human deities for some other show too. So
Didn't we do that?
I feel like we did.
I think
but-
we did that.
Yeah, we've done them at least once, but
Yeah.
now we've done so many and
Yes.
so long. So yeah,
We're trying to keep it fresh and it's
Yeah.
getting tough, but we're trying there. So
Yeah.
I thought we did that, but
months
the
ago.
Underdark
Yep.
one would be a real good one to go through.
Oh yes.
Because then we can get
Yeah.
into that, and I will keep Eric.
The weird stuff.
I'll keep Eric
Yeah.
Menke away from this because he would dominate it with the illustrating stuff. So, but I really want to know everyone's thoughts on illustrating Greyhawk in a future
Yeah.
discussion. I really
Mhm.
do. So,
Mhm.
yes. No one will notice. We're trying, man. So,
no one will notice yet. Wait a few months and we can redo it again. Yeah.
all right. So, Mike, what's going on in the world here? We'll do some shout outs here as we're going to get ready for.
Well, just hanging out on Discord, hanging out in the streams, playing games with my Greyhawk friends. It's been a good year, but not working on anything right now. I'm still on my long sabbatical. So
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Sooner
Yeah,
or
good
later,
times.
you may get inspired. You never know.
yeah,
So-
maybe I'll write up a new deity or something.
Mhm.
No one does that kind of stuff.
Listen,
Yes, sad Lynn is gone.
we have a new
Yeah.
Greyhawk deity. You all know that, right?
Mhm.
Courtesy of Len. We have a new Greyhawk deity trapped in the God Trap. Silacra.
Hmm.
Oh boy. CEO. Yes. So we have a new deity to work on, and I've already jumped on that, so it's coming. Definitely coming. So I'm dog sitting for someone at Gamehole Con. Well, there you go.
Huh.
There you go.
Very
Yep.
cool.
Mhm.
All right, well, Mike, thanks a lot. And Mike was able to get on here tonight because he wasn't.
Yep.
He didn't have a scope shoved down his throat. So that's a good. I
Yep,
guess that's a good thing.
I'm good to go.
Awesome. Anna, what's going on?
Well, it's my game time on Sunday again, so that's what I need. They're just entering Bogford, and I realized that I have named the inn, so that's perfect. We can get that name for Sunday session. And then the other big thing is that I'm working hard on the map and atlas update for 2021, and it's going to be a big one, bigger than any other update so far. So that's all I'm going to say, but because I haven't spilled the beans to anyone yet, so there's going to be fun stuff for those added. And
Awesome.
then there will be a map stream on Friday on YouTube, Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific. And this week it will be heraldry because
Nice.
I'm tired of just showing the same old me doing little islands and stuff for the Flanny's map update. So I'm going to do heraldry this Friday and show a little bit. So it will be more Photoshop tips and tricks basically, because that's what the heraldry is about. A lot of blend modes and stuff like that, how you can do tricks like getting things to look like old worn metal and reflexes and stuff like that on things. So that will be the thing. So I will probably, maybe we can do 4 or 5 or 6 shields or something like that. We'll see how many, but I work for 2 hours and just keep doing heraldry for 2 hours.
Nice. That's cool.
Mhm.
So Anna may have a rare Sunday night off coming up too as we talk. But Anna's you're always welcome to sit in on these crafting streams too.
Yeah,
ask
but
questions.
it's okay because I have my games, and I'm actually introducing a second game group in the same area at the same time. So the campaign will have 2 game groups that are in the beginning they'd start out separately, but they might be joined for missions or something like that if they so prefer. We'll see.
Okay.
So yep. So it's so that way I can make double use of all my development efforts and stuff. So and there's more coming on that too. But I want to right now just get as much done on the Atlas and Flanny's map updates as possible. But there will be no heraldry compendium on this map or Atlas update, because I'd rather want to do the heraldry more thorough and then have a kind of a heraldry compendium by itself coming in the spring rather than to have it. So, and the Atlas is big enough with well over 100 pages anyway. So that's will be so the heraldry will be postponed until spring, but then it will be cooler because it will be better and better heraldry and more heraldry too.
Awesome.
So, yeah, so those are the things going on right now. It's a lot of things, but not much to show at the moment. So yeah, but it's coming. Yeah.
Well, hopefully you have a great game on Sunday too. That would be really
Thank
cool.
you.
And,
Yeah.
and will they be in Bogford at the top? Will they get there?
They are in Bogford.
Okay, well there you go.
We ended when they got into the village and they saw the troll peeking into one of the houses that we looked at on the mapping show that were in the outskirts of Bogford, so to speak. Bogford has like 3 parts to the village, and they're in the southeastern part. And they saw a troll that was staring into one of these old kind of rugged, half-ruined houses and there was smoke coming out of the chimney, and there's a young troll staring in at the window, so to speak. And the troll hasn't seen the characters yet, so that's where we ended the session in a kind of a cliffhanger. So yeah.
Awesome. So I was busting Rich again. I said, "Isn't what he do? Isn't that illegal in Canada?" So I'm getting better at close-up shots. This is a current picture of the fight going on outside Fort Lamont with a group as they're fighting some hellhounds and actually a little small, very small, tiny little 8-hit die fire elemental along with some other things. And it turns out that this Lord of the Lord of the Wilderness has got this gang of gnolls and these fire users and are causing havoc out here. And this is all a prelude into what I'm doing for this new chain, Importance of a Great Apocalypse. So we'll see how this goes. But please note, I already told you of a monster or creature tonight that we talked about in the old Roger Moore publication you're going to see tomorrow night too, which is kind of cool. So yeah, thank you so very much. So that is tomorrow night. Then Sunday night we have a really cool gabbin as we go, and we need to do crafting gabbins here and there. So we're going to have painting and crafting techniques. We're just going to be very blunt with a general category and bring it out. We have Dr. Faust as a guest as well, and hopefully Mike Disney can make it. If Mike's not in Canada, if he can get in, he may not be on, but Buildmaster Crafter definitely will be, and we're going to just talk about things that are going on as far as some painting and crafting techniques. Now here, I'm going to share some of this with you real quick, and this is some recent Bill crafts that are getting ready for next Thursday's game. All right. Oops.
Oh.
There for our Halloween show.
Oh,
so there it is.
Awesome.
Yes, there's the overgourd that Bill has painted. So it is getting ready to go for us.
Oh, I love that. That looks so cool.
Yes, so we got that, and Bill's working on some, outdoor terrain pieces for that, and we saw this last time, but here's the witch's hut or crone's hut is coming. So we got some really cool things that are going to be on the table next week, and that'll be for the 2 Thursdays that go before and after Halloween. I'm not going to rush it in a 1-shot session. I'm going to make that in a 2-shot session there. So there you go with that.
So cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be a blast. Thank you, and Bill does all the great work, and let's try and really differentiate ourselves from the competition out there. Here are 3 upcoming special shows in November. So we start, and let's see if I hit the right button here. We start the morning of November 6th, the Saturday after Halloween, for the ever mysterious Tim. that morning on Saturday, the Underdog Session 3, and of course Tim can't help himself. Wilderness of Pain is the name of the adventure. All right, and he's already got the the group in there. I know some of you that are in that group. So I think Kayla's playing there too. Let me see. And Tim, the following people: Kayla, Mike Disney, Ancient Gamer Patrick, Antiquitous, Prometheus, Daniel. I'm not sure who Daniel is, and Chuck Cumbo from Controller Games. All those people playing in that game on that morning. So that's going to run till almost 5 hours at least, and then you have a couple hour break, and then that night a Greenwoods group will be here. And so I'm going to be streaming have streams going for almost 11 hours on the 6th on that Saturday.
Virtual Greyhawk Con.
Yes,
So exactly,
almost.
it's like a mini virtual Greyhawk Con.
It's a full. What is? Oh, you've under Well, you got to remember. So mine's gonna be maybe a little lower level version of the Overlord, but I got some surprises for you with my own. So Secrets in the Darkness. I got Ed Greenwood and the whole crew. Anna's playing Stella, Eric Boyd, Mike Disney is the special guest. No Eric Mengi, Tony Winslow Brill. I'm still working on Eric Mona for this. I'm seeing if I can get him in, and then the week after is the other game I was talking about with The Hunted is the name of this. This is all brand new characters, 6 brand new characters in that 3rd, 4th level range with 4 brand new players to old school and my campaign. And I noticed I didn't push Josh's name on there because he doesn't really need to have his name up there. So 5 women players and Josh. So that'll be fun. And I got some really great new giveaways from Stratagem. I got bags of plenty for this. I'll be giving out one during each of my Saturday night streams. Holds what it has in it, 140 dice. So we'll have some really nice giveaways for these events as well. So I think that's it. Let's do the giveaways. If I miss tomorrow night, Gamescape 3D giveaways, some nice STLs, the Elven Fort, and also the Evil Temple, which is brand new, which is really cool. So last call if you want to sign up. Remember, you can Dice Junkies. Oh my God, yeah, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a fun one. So remember, I'm gonna go in order. You get your choice: $25 gift certificate, Troller Games, the digital for 5e Gaxmore, or the Anna in choosing.
Well, yeah.
Hey, that might be the first.
We'll see.
It's up to you. It's up to you. Whoever wins, you get to decide. Okay, you got to be on the claim.
Yeah,
so
they get to decide.
Yep. Here we go.
That's good.
Last call. I'm going to close it out. All right, closing it out. The winner, first winner. Ranger. Let me reopen it. Let me just make sure you're not in here, Ranger. Go ahead, Ranger. Do it again. I locked it out and I opened it back up. You should be in now. Go ahead. Lord Forth and Ranger Harley. Let me see if you're both in here. Do it again. Hey, Lee, what's up? Go ahead. Do it again, Lord Forth and Ranger Harley. I think I locked you out for the giveaway. Go for it. Last call. I'll give you guys 10 seconds. Anna's choosing of the tavern name in Bogford. $25 gift certificate, Troller Games. Digital copy of Gaxmore in 5e, the book of Lost City Gaxmore in 5e. All right, here we go. Closing it out. Closed. First winner, Jason Zavona.
Awesome.
Jason! Oh, he's naming.
Yeah.
You know he's naming.
Oh, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, and he's on. Jason naming. I thought so. There you go.
Awesome,
Jason.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. All right, next winner. You guys only get monetary stuff. Sorry.
Boo.
Next winner, Nagul.
Good name.
Nagul. Is Nagul on still? I'm looking. Nagul's still on.
Come on, Nagul.
Nagul.
Chime in.
Nagul. Let me do the second winner so you can pick ahead of him. Curtis. CBL. Wow. Okay.
All
Curtis,
right.
do you ever want anything? That may be your first.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a first time for
Not
Curtis.
cool. Hey.
Yeah.
There's Nagul. Nagul, what do you want, Nagul? Do you want the $25 gift certificate to Troller Games, or do you want the digital download of Gaxmore 5e? You tell me. And then Curtis will get the second thing. Let me just make sure Curtis is on. He's on. Okay. So Nagul, you tell me. And then, yeah, there you go, Curtis. You're going to win something here. So Nagul, your choice. So please tell me. And we're going to raid into Guilds. The 5e book for Nagul. Got it. Okay. Well, Curtis, you get a $25 gift certificate there. All right. 5e book. Remember, the 5e book, Nagul, is digital. Okay. Note that, please. You all right with that? It's a good book. So there you go. All right. All right. Here we go. So you're all welcome. So Nagul and Curtis, just whisper me if you can Discord me. If you can't, just whisper me here, and I'll send the codes here to you. Okay, and I'll do that within the next half hour. Hey, yeah, righteous bucks, man. That's best Fast Times at Ridgemont High quote. That's awesome. We're gonna raid into Guild Superior tonight. Sound good? Alrighty. Thanks all for a great show.
Yeah, thank
and
you.
I know Anna and Jason will be in touch. Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. We look, 86 people with no raids from anyone tonight. So think about that. So that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very good. I really appreciate it. And hey, no problem, Lee. It's work.
Thanks,
Real life
everybody.
Real life comes in first. Don't worry about it. It's
Thank
cool, and you
you.
can always watch it on the end here. And let me hit the right button. And let's set up the raid. Please hang in there, and let's set up the raid for. We'll do Guild Superior tonight. Get them a nice boost here. And I'll see you tomorrow night. Finish up the adventure we're running. Portents of a Great Apocalypse. Going in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Everyone have a good night. See you tomorrow night.
Bye.
Awesome.
Yeah. 67, not bad.
Yeah, that's good.
Especially like you said, since we didn't have any raids coming in.
Yeah.